Y'all, it's David Ducker coming back at you, and today I'm going to be doing a campaign pitch for my Dragon Riders of Mu campaign. So I'm going to try to sell you on this game, so you will come and join in the fun with me. It's also just an example of how I would pitch it to my players, so perhaps you can learn by osmosis and say, that this is perhaps a persuasive way to get someone on board with my campaign. So what is the Dragon Riders of Mu? So let's go through the campaign tripod. So the setting is going to be kind of a feudal European model. I know it's been done a million times, but the twist on this setting is our knights will not ride horses. They will fly through the sky on dragon back with their composite bows at the ready, slinging arrows and fireballs alike. So that is our twist on the feudal structure. Now, Mu has recently undergone a war, almost a civil war. It's been a war against the elves of the forest. The elves have eagle knights flying through the sky on eagles. See my video on high elves for more about elven culture. But basically, the elves have been cast down, defeated. The high elves are nearly extinct. All the elves have become wild. They're roving through the forest in small tribal bands, causing trouble for us good human folk. So they're going to be our primary low-level antagonists. So they have the Eagle Knights, so we can get some aerial combat and exploits going on with them. We destroyed all their elf trees. Their mighty cities burned to the ground, so they want revenge. They're waiting for someone, a messiah, to come up. They're getting desperate to save their people, to reinstitute high elven culture. So that is the elves arrayed against us, raiding us constantly. And then across the sea, we have our true enemies. They're the Golem Knights of Lemuria. They are also a feudal culture, but they're very different from our own. They call themselves samurai. They bow down before emperors and shoguns instead of to dukes and kings. Their religion would be quite different. We worship the five-headed dragon god Tiamat, whose heads represent the powers of the universe: good, evil, law, chaos. And the last head is balance, the most important of them all. Tiamat teaches us that each man has these four fires burning within him, and we must balance them out to maintain our sanity. The Lemurians have a very, very different kind of religion, and they do not have dragons. There may be dragons where they're from, some kind of wild imperial dragon out there, but they don't ride them. What they have are giant magical suits of armor, which we would call golem armor, and they might call them Gundams. So these are an invading force. They're coming across the big water, trying to slay our dragons, trying to put us down and subjugate us. It is rumored that they have some kind of magical submersible vessels which they can use to strike at night at will from beneath the waves. So this is a tremendously dangerous enemy. Their golems cannot fly, but they're enormous and powerful. They're armed with glaives. They no doubt have some kind of ranged weapons, perhaps flamethrowers. Perhaps they can throw lightning. But I don't believe the majority of them, if any, would be able to fly. So that's one advantage. We have the skies, and they have the nigh invulnerable armor. So these are kind of the central conflicts in the setting. So we have us on Dragonback. We have across the sea this empire of Gundam-wearing samurai, and we have the wild elves plaguing us constantly as a smaller threat as well. So those are the basics, the rudiments of the setting. What is our story going to be? Our story will be that of a noble house. And we'll start when your character is 7 years old. He'll be quite young. He will be bonded to his dragon, who will grow with him throughout his life. And what we want to do with this campaign is tell the story of his life, of the noble house, of the war against Lemuria across the sea. So we're going to run a 7-year time gap between each session. Session 1, you'll be 7 years old. You'll get your dragon. You'll get advice from your father. You'll be there with your brothers and sisters and cousins, the other player characters. And of course, we'll get some 7-year-old action, primarily driven by your dragons. As you're young, your dragons will be your defenders and protectors, your strong arm. Session 2, you'll be 14 years old. Your dragons will have gone from cat size to dog size. And we'll have the teenage angst, the rebellion, whatever you want to do in your teenage years. We're going to condense it down into one session. Session 3, you'll be 21. So you'll be probably getting married in that session. We'll show the courtly politics, coming up and taking your place among the family. Session 4, you'll be 28. Your dragons are finally large enough to fly with you mounted. So we will finally get into some flying mounted battle in that session. Perhaps against the Golem Knights, perhaps against the Eagle Knights, perhaps against rogue dragonriders who have gone bad. We shall see. And I want this to run for 7 sessions. You start at age 7. There's a 7-year time skip between each. We're going to run for 7 sessions. So this is a mini campaign. It's a different format, a little bit unusual, a little bit experimental, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So that's the story. Third prong of the tripod is the team. So we will be this noble house. We'll be a family. We can be their retainers as well. Being a retainer, if you want to get involved in the aerial action, you may need to be a turncoat Eagle Knight, a foreign Pegasus Knight, a wizard with a flying carpet. Who knows? You know, you're welcome to pitch that into me so we can get you involved in the story. We have to get you linked into this noble house. Tell the story of the war against Lemuria. Tell the story of the elves coming up, trying to restore their glory. Tell the story of our family and your life, your dragon growing up alongside you. So that's the basic pitch. I just walk you through the campaign tripod and say, are you interested? Does anything interest you in that? Can we move forward with it? Are you willing to commit 7 sessions to this idea? And so far I've got very good responses. I'm running this game online, so anyone with a internet connection and the proper scheduling can tune in. Running it through the OSG, and right now we're on session 2.5. We had to cut session 2 short, so we actually are splitting that into 2 sessions. And anyone's welcome to drop in at any time, as space allows. So right now, you know, we've got really fun characters, but there's still, you know, 5 sessions left, maybe 5.5, depending on how quickly you can get in. 5.5 sessions left to tell this story, to move 7 years at a time through the history of this world and to shape that history. So let me know what you think of this pitch, of the idea behind it. I'll leave that in the comments below. Hopefully I'll see you on the OSG and we can role play through it. Until I see you again, good day and good gaming.